Chapter 38. Unknown. Space and time crackled and shattered ahead of him, as he used every bit of available energy to traverse the wide emptiness of space. It was going to be close, he knew, but everything he had seen said he would make it in time. From there, it was both in his hands, out of his hands. The fate of the universe rested on his shoulders. His heart raced, blood pounding in his ears. He was entering into an active war zone, preparing for the fight of his existence, against one of the deadliest foes to walk the universe. He wasn't ready, but fate would give no more time. Earth. I reappeared with a slight pop of displacing air, less than 3 feet away from Bulma. The moment I appear, I can already feel that something is dreadfully wrong with the planet. The very air feels wrong, a tightness in my chest that wasn't there before. A feeling of want or need in my chest that I've never known before. The sky above me isn't the blue that it's supposed to be, but instead is a swirl of color much like an aurora borealis. Almost as though a filter has been placed over the top of the normally blue sky. Right now, she finished yelling, before the pop of me appearing alerted her to my presence. KLL. Oh, thank goodness you're here, she said, quickly moving over to me. I came the moment you said there was an issue. What's happening? I ask. Motioning me to follow her, I quickly did. After making our way down a long hallway, she shows me to what might as well be a full-size theater. With a wave of her hand, the massive screen turns on, shifting channels till it ends up on the local news. It's chaos in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. The newscaster yelled, over video of people rioting. It's day 3 of the riots in West Central City, and it doesn't appear to be slowing down at all. The strange crowds seem to be growing with the destruction. More and more people arrive in the city every hour, adding to the chaos. The video continues to play, showing oddly dressed people moving slowly through the streets destroying property, viciously beating, possibly killing, anyone that tries to stop them. The group looks like a cult, dressed in hooded cloaks, chanting as they continue their destruction. When did this happen, Bulma? I ask, barely taking my eyes off the screen. I don't know. I've been so busy that I haven't been keeping up with the news like I used to. Everything has gone haywire, though. All of my equipment is thrown out of whack. None of the readings make any sense. KLL, I'm worried. This is worse than when Piccolo was destroying Earth. Bulma says, tears in her eyes. I'll go take a look, Bulma. I can't make any promises, but I'll see if I can't stop this. It took just a few moments for me to fly to West City at full speed, even without increasing my power. I could already tell that something was terribly wrong with this planet and its people, simply by observing as I approached. What the fuck is going on? I thought, watching the destruction below me. Far below me, a growing crowd of people streams into the city from the surrounding landscape. I can see people getting out of the flying cars they use, or parking on the highways as they make their way into the city. Everywhere I look there is fire, death, and destruction. To earn peace, we must make peace, they chanted, all while flipping cars and attacking those not dressed like them. To make peace, we will make peace. I followed the growing crowd, circling the city quickly. I notice almost immediately that they are all heading for the center of the city, where the largest conflagration is formed. I fly over to that area, seeing if I can spot anything, but nothing truly sticks out to me as being weird. Besides the giant mass of rioting people, that is. I see you've taken notice of my children. A voice says, not very far behind me. I whip around, surprised to see a cloaked figure floating a dozen feet away from me. I can't sense any real power in him, but the air around us seems to bleed with the colors I saw earlier. Who are you? I yell as the air around us ripples. What have you done to these people? Done? Why, I've done nothing but show them the true path to peace. He replies, looking down at the teeming masses. When I first arrived here several months ago, I realized that this planet has a very high percentage of people that can be peaceful if they know the option exists. I knew I couldn't possibly do here what I'd done on other planets. There were simply too many to save on my own. I have given them the ability to save themselves. Peace? Who are you? I ask again. Tell me now. I won't ask again. His form shimmers for a moment before he finally turns back towards me. Reaching up, he takes down the hood of his own cloak, showing off an oddly reminiscent face. His skin is an off shade of green and yellow, small scales, reflecting the light of the massive fire at the center of the city. His eyes are a pale glowing red, no white or color visible anywhere. As soon as his face was visible, I hit him with observe. Name, Paternus. Title, the Father. Race, Eternal Dragon. Age, not applicable. Status, alive. HP, LVL. Paternus is one of the remaining shadow dragons, born from speaking a wish to the Namekian Dragon Balls that had been corrupted by too many wishes. Holding the 1-star Dragon Ball in his chest, its power courses through him. Created from the negative energy built up by wishing for planet Namek to be restored over and over again, he is a being of pure evil. Believing that all planets deserve a chance to be restored to their former glory, Paternus has wiped out over a dozen advanced civilizations. I am Paternus, child. I am the father of a new time of peace and rebirth for this universe. He says, his voice deepening as his age changes slightly to an older version. Tell me, who are you and what brings you here? I stare at his description for a moment, ignoring his question. I know for a fact that he's strong. Much stronger than I am for the most part. Case in point, Goku was a Super Saiyan 4 when he faced the Earth Shadow Dragons, and he was definitely much more powerful than I am. I only had 1 or 2 options here, and neither was completely viable. This was a fight I couldn't win. Doesn't mean I can't try though. I think as I flood my body with energy. Combat has started. Enemies. Paternus LVL 450000 EXP. With a slight push, I move into my potential unlocked form, immediately hitting my max power level of barely over 1T. The air vibrates as I pass through it, Paternus barely reacting to my attack before my fist is slamming into his draconic face, launching him backward. There is a slight flash in my mind, as though for a moment I can see a picture that is far away. With a push of energy, I'm following after him, but he's already corrected in the air, blocking my follow-up the attack. The world shudders to a standstill as he whips around in slow motion, a thick lizard-like tail shredding the back of his robe as it spins around to slam into me. Using my speed to my advantage, I duck, the muscled tail slicing through the air barely inches of my head. With his attack missing and throwing him off guard, I use the momentarily enhanced speed to lay into him. A hard right cross that could have destroyed this planet, barely snapping his head to the side. The following uppercut, which should have shattered his jaw, barely leaving a scuff mark on his scales. The knee I slam into his temple, ignored entirely as time snaps back into motion. His arms come up, his hands wrapping around both of my arms, rearing back and throwing me away like a rag doll. I slam through several buildings before I'm able to right myself. I've already lost 10% of my HP, and I've barely even scraped him. The building in front of me explodes as Paternus smashes through it, the building falling to the side and crashing into another. I don't know who you think you are, but I will not be stopped. This planet will be rebirthed. He yells before nearly disappearing. His fist slams into my stomach, doubling me over like I was made of paper. He moves with the attack, carrying me with it, slamming me through several buildings as he brings me along. I try to roll to the side off of his fist, but his hand shifts, wrapping around me as he changes angles and slams me full force into the ground. The entire time, my mind is filled with the images of what he did to the planets before Earth. Finally releasing me, he rears back to slam another punch into me. With a thought, I pop away with instant transmission, appearing directly behind him. I shove every ounce of energy and rage I have into my leg, slamming a kick into the side of his head that would have split any lesser behind in half. For Paternus, however, the attack did barely any damage, only launching him away. I drop back to the ground, breathing heavily. Already this fight is taking a huge toll on me, and it hasn't gotten anywhere. It was time to pull out all the stops. I couldn't let him do what he wants with Earth, not only because the planet housed the only available Dragon Balls, but because my few remaining friends in this life were here. With another pop, I was gone. Bulma! I yelled the moment I appeared. KLL, what's going on out there? The camera showed you fighting someone. You're destroying even more of the city. Bulma yelled back. No time, Bulma. I need that scouter I gave you right now. With another pop, I reappeared back where I left, to find Paternus floating above the city again. He doesn't spot me, as he couldn't sense me even if he wanted to. He seems to be talking to the large mass of his followers below him, so I let him be for now. He must think I ran away. I think as I set the scouter back in place. I tap the side, syncing it back with the Galaxy network. Pulling up direct communications, I pull up the only contact I have that could possibly help here. King Indivaya, I need to enact Plan B, I say as soon as it's connected. KLL? What's going dash? He starts to reply. No time to explain, please. Just send the alert. I reply, cutting the connection. I hate being short with Indivaya, as he's one of the few remaining Scions I trust at all, but I don't have much choice at the moment. Whatever Paternus is saying to his followers is riling them up again. I know it's going to take Indivaya a while to enact Plan B, so I watch on, resting as best I can. My faithful followers. Paternus called down, gathering their attention. My earlier thoughts had been correct, that they were heading to the center of the city. Paternus floats in the air above them, as they cram themselves, several 100,000 of them, all into a small little space. Today we have brought a reckoning to these people. Where they would have tread on us, spit on us, or turned us away, we have shown them the error of their ways. He called out, causing them all to cheer. In just a moment, I shall usher in a new world for you, allowing you, and those faithful, a chance to make this planet a better place for all. Shit! I don't know how much time I have. I thought as I watched on. Paternus slowly drops to the ground, the massive crowd opening to allow him space to land. A weird pulse of energy seems to escape him, a nearly translucent bubble of energy forming. It slowly expands, spreading outward to encompass all of the robed figures, destroying everything else in its path. As it approaches me, I push against it, putting everything I have into it, but it keeps pushing me back. I see robed figures passing into it easily, but anyone left alive in the city is pushed just as I am. The buildings, cars, everything else is pushed out of the way. A slight bing from my scouter, and I'm already hitting the answer button. It's ready KLL. Indivia's voice comes through. I tap through the options instantly, till my current location shows up. 7A1928Z, Y3, 38.9072N, 77.0369W. There is a pause as the info is relayed before he replies. On the way. As the translucent orb finishes growing, encompassing all of his children, Paternus can't help but smile. It's not every day that he is able to help a planet and a good amount of people. It's time, children, Paternus says, his voice whispering into their hearts and minds. Rebirth, 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 rebirth. They all chant, the words urging him on. That's right, he yells, feeling his energy swell within him. To you, my children, I bring rebirth. As he reaches down, his energy reaching a fever pitch, his hand just inches from the ground, there is a loud snap. Looking up, his protective bubble shatters completely, fading away. Before he can even react, a blur and a loud crash sends him flying. He tries to flip around, but a hard kick to his back sends him hundreds of feet into the ground. With a roar, Paternus flexes his power, the ground between him and the sky shattering into dust as he launches himself skyward. Who would dare? He roars, coming so close just to be paused, sending him over the edge. Not today, Paternus. Paternus turns around, following my voice from where I am floating behind him. He's practically seething at this point, and I don't particularly blame him. Earth is off limits. I'd ask you to leave, but we both know you won't. Instead, I'm just going to kill you and be done with it. I say, smirking slightly. You again, he yells. After your last try, you've actually come back for round 2? Round 2? I ask, laughing. We never even started round 1. He pauses, taking a deep breath, seemingly confused by my laughter. I see. Something is different about you now. Either way, I'm tired of these games. He rushes in, nearly faster than even I can follow, a punch that would kill me cocked back. With a small twist, I dodge the incoming attack, catching it in my bare hand. W what? He stutters, staring at me. I shove, my fiery red aura flashing brighter, as I yank him down and to the side. My knee slams into the bottom of his jaw, snapping his head back. I'm a blur as I spin, a reverse heel kick to his outstretched head sending him spinning away, bouncing hard on the ground. He crawls back to his feet, staring up at me in abject rage. It's funny, Paternus, I say as float above him. You act like a god, expecting these people to worship you. Yet between the two of us, only one of us is a real god. We shall see about that. He snarls, before turning to his mass of followers. Give me your energy. I must destroy this man before I can usher in your new world. No, I yell, rushing at Paternus. The crowd practically snarls along with him, outstretching their hands like fans at a concert. A glowing web of energy forms among them, connecting to Paternus's back. With a thump, his robe shreds as a visible aura appears around him for the first time. The ground cracks slightly, a single glowing star forming in the center of his chest. I reach him a millionth of a second later, slamming my fist into his jaw. The attack still launches him backward, but I can already tell that we're much more evenly matched than I would have liked. He reappears in front of me, quickly launching his own attack, as I react in kind. We trade blows, matching attack for attack, blocking, dodging, slipping a real hit in as possible. His height, weight, and reach advantage gives him an uncertain advantage. I'm the more skilled fighter, and my power as a Super Saiyan God still outpaces his own for the time being. I duck a hard jab, but am caught flush in the face by his tail, sending me spinning through the air. I flare my energy, quickly halting my backward flight in time to catch his kick before it can take my head off. I push it off, my own kick being blocked on left. I quickly point my palm at his face, catching him off guard with a palm blast that could destroy a star had he not been in the way of it. The smoke clears almost instantly, and I'm already hitting him in the chest with a double-fisted punch that leaves 2 identical dents as he's launched backward again. I need to end this soon. Super Saiyan God doesn't last forever. I think as I throw myself back into the fray. There is a sudden surge of energy, as Paternus draws another pulse of energy from his follows. Even my casual glance as I streak past them shows that absorbing their energy is causing them to age. They won't last forever, so we're both on a time limit. I know that if anything, that makes this fight even more dangerous. With a loud roar of rage and pain, Paternus appears before me practically fully healed with the energy of his cult. You'll never defeat me, he screams, his fist crashing down on my arms, as I protect my head as best I can. You're tiring already, and there is nothing you can do about it. His third slam, weaker than the others but more than enough combined, breaks through my guard, smashing me into the dust of the city. As I launch myself out of the hole, I see that again there is a translucent barrier encompassing the remains of the city. I can't sense Paternus, but the web of energy from his followers is easy enough to follow, leading me right to him. I smash into him as he again reaches towards the ground. Another flash of a dying civilization in my mind, as I hear something deep inside of him crack. His body almost ragdolls as it bounces off the barrier, before crashing back into the crowd of followers. I collapse to the ground, the energy I had been carrying gone like the city that once stood here. I scramble back to my feet as the crowd surges around me. I pulse my aura, pushing them back as I rise into the air. Paternus is down on one knee, clutching at his mangled side, his followers touching him, trying to help him to his feet. Our eyes meet, taking in the changes in one another. His followers have enough energy for another pulse or two, and we both know it. Even with my best shot, I lost this battle. And with it, I've lost the Earth. Ha 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 ha. Paternus laughs as his followers help him back to his feet. You almost had me, you know. I don't know what that form was, but it didn't last long enough to stop me. If it weren't for my followers, I wouldn't even have the energy left for this. As he speaks, another pulse from his followers flows into him. His hand glows once more, showing clearly what he plans to do with the energy. You're inside the barrier, so you'll live along with my followers. For a while, at least. He says as he reaches down, dropping weakly back to his knee. For this planet, I bring rebirth. There is a momentous flash of heat and energy.